Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today, and today the Houston Texans have signed Cam Robinson to a one-year, $14 million deal, and the left tackle, will be joining the Houston Texans, and this will be the Laremy Tunsil replacement. For a minute, it was looking like that the left tackle replacement would be an in-house move. It would be Titus Howard, who was supposed to play left tackle when drafted to the Texans, but didn't because the Texans traded for Laremy Tunsil. But no, it's going to be Cam Robinson, and I think now there's a little bit of a question of where Titus Howard plays next season. I know there are some people that are automatically assuming he's going to be at left guard, but I also look at a veteran the Texans brought in who's a very good veteran. Texans side Laken Tomlinson. He's a guy that's been in the league since like the early 2010s and has been in this league for a long time and spent most of his career at left guard. So that's one thing I look at is Tomlinson not going to be at left guard right next to Cam Robinson at left tackle, and then Titus Howard could potentially be at right guard, or would Tomlinson maybe move to right guard and you see Robinson at left tackle and Howard at left guard? I don't know. But I do know this Texans offensive line has just improved with adding him in. And who do you thank for this signing? Titus Howard, for restructuring his contract. That opened up $11 million in cap space, and then the Texans go out right after that and sign Cam Robinson to a $14 million deal. And he's going to reunite with some former teammates of his. Texans traded for Ed Ingram, guard, who right now is not slotted in to be a starter. Right guard right now is projected to be Juice Scruggs. We'll see if the Texans. I think the Texans should draft a right guard at some point in the draft. The Texans traded for Ed Ingram, a guy that was with Cam Robinson last season, the Vikings offensive line. He got traded at the trade deadline to Minnesota. Also, Texans traded for another trade the Texans made. The Texans traded for Christian Kirk, and he played with Christian Kirk in Jacksonville for a couple seasons. So, he's reunited with two former teammates from the offense, and Christian, two different teams he played for last year, and he reunites with two teammates from both those teams, Christian Kirk in Jacksonville and Ed Ingram in Minnesota. But he spent more time with Christian Kirk in Jacksonville because he has spent most of his career in Jacksonville since 2017. Obviously, Christian Kirk didn't join Jacksonville until like 2022 or 2021, something like that. So most of his time in Jacksonville, Kirk wasn't on the team, but spent a lot more time with Christian Kirk than he did Ed Ingram. And Ed Ingram didn't play a lot during the second half of the season. But yeah, I like this addition for the Texans. I think one of the great things about him, look, sure, he's not a great run blocker, but he's an amazing. He's a really not amazing, but he's a really good pass blocker. I think that's something the Texans need. And so you add in a really good pass blocker in Cam Robinson. That's something you want with this Texans offensive line. And I think it looks a lot better now that you got Robinson at left tackle, potentially Tomlinson at left guard, and then Howard at right guard, or maybe it's Howard left guard and Tomlinson right guard. I wonder how the Texans play that, because you got Howard who's played in his career. He's played at both left guard and right guard, or mainly he's just played at left guard. I mean, you can also plug him into right tackle, something that I didn't think about. I don't think he's actually played at right guard, but what I meant was you can put him at right tackle, and not right guard, and then right guard would be Juice Scruggs. That's my bad. I kept saying right guard. I meant right tackle, because he played right tackle in 2022 for the Texans. Played right tackle in his first two seasons in 2019 and 2020. Sure, he played left guard in 2021, but was at tackle for the Texans in 2023 and 2024, mostly playing right tackle. So, I know there were some talks about Howard, moving back to left guard where he played in 2021. But he honestly should, in my opinion, should be at right tackle, knowing that Tomlinson has played left guard most of his career. Right tackle is the position Howard's played the most in his career. Then you got Robinson at left tackle, so your two tackles would be Howard and Robinson, and then your left guard would be Tomlinson. Unless the Texans didn't draft anybody, then your center's Jarrett Patterson, and your right guard's Juice Scruggs, and then you got guys coming off the bench like Ed Ingram and also Blake Fisher. But that's another thing. Blake Fisher, he's a guy you look at potentially being at right tackle. There's a lot of questions with this offensive line, because if you want Blake Fisher to be in the offensive line, there's a way. If you want Blake Fisher to be in this offensive line and not Juice Scruggs, then maybe it's at left tackle Cam Robinson, left guard is Titus Howard, at centers Jarrett Patterson, at right guard is Laken Tomlinson, and at right tackle is Blake Fisher. So Blake Fisher is in the offensive line and not Juice Scruggs. But I don't know. I think Laken Tomlinson was a good addition for this Texans team, and I think he's more comfortable at left guard. I know Howard spent most of his time at right tackle, so I'd like to see Howard at right tackle and then see Tomlinson at left guard and Robinson at left tackle, and then we see the Texans potentially add in another center, or Patterson's just the center next season, and then we'll see what they do at right guard. So yeah. Let me know your thoughts on the Houston Texans signing, bringing in Cam Robinson. I like this addition. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and peace out. Go Texans.